Hi everyone, welcome to the show Built with VAs. I'm your host Valentina Brega, and today we're talking about how to interview the virtual assistants. If you follow this podcast, last time we spoke about how to write a job ad that doesn't suck. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go back and watch it. And now that you've found the perfect candidates that you think are maybe good for you, let's see how you interview them to really understand whether or not they are the right fit for your company. So let's get right to it. It's gonna be awesome. Interviewing people is one of the best ways to understand if that person is the right fit for you. I like this process. I like the interview, but I have to be careful here because a lot of the candidates, they have crafted this art of the perfect interviewing. And again, you can fall in love with a candidate at the interview. They can have the right resume, they can have the right interview, but there are some questions that we ask and a way we structure our interviews here at Higher Train VA that help us get a better understanding of the candidates. And that's what I want to show you today. We're going to talk about the red flags. We're going to talk about our structure, and I'm going to show you behind the curtain what we do in our agency. So let's get to it. When you interview candidates, always have a video chat. There's a couple of reasons for that, but even though, there are some candidates who prefer a phone interview, it's okay if there's no other alternatives, but I prefer a video chat because you can actually see the person's body language, you can see how they react, and you can also see the quality of their internet connection. And I think this is important. A lot of the programs, when you have a video chat, a lot of the programs will lag or there will be some issues. So this is a great way to really check the internet speed, check to make sure they have all the right equipment to do a good job for you, especially if we're talking about a remote position, and especially if we're talking about virtual assistants who are on a different side of the world and you're not sure whether or not they have reliable technology. So definitely have a video chat. And also, like I said, it's important to see the person's body language and how they carry themselves. I recently interviewed someone that I was considering for my own company. That person came highly recommended. She had a very high position in a good company, very famous company. And then when we interviewed, I understood it within the first minute that this is not the person I want. First of all, she did not present herself professionally. The answers were not good. The video chat wasn't good. So overall, I knew from the 1 minute that this is not the person I want. And I don't think I would have gotten to this conclusion if it was just a phone interview. So my recommendation, always have a video chat. So the next thing you want to do once you have your candidates, you always want to be asking the exact same questions to everyone. You want to compare apples to apples. And I'm going to show you here a book that we use and the questions that we ask. But when you ask the same questions, you get to see how different the responses can be to the exact same question. How deeply some people can go, how superficially they can answer, and that's going to tell you a lot more. So next thing you want to do is you want to give a test. So after you've conducted the interview, don't just take it at face value. You always want to put this to a little test. Have a little role play. If you're hiring someone for cold calling, have a little role play. Put them in uncomfortable situations if their job requires them to be in uncomfortable situations. Especially if you're in real estate and if you're doing cold calling, you know how those prospects can be. They can be brutal out there. They can be tough. So you do the same thing. When you do a cold calling session, then you don't want to be the nicest on the phone. You want to give them tough objections because you want to see how that virtual assistant will handle the heat, how they handle being put under pressure. And it's also good for virtual assistants to see if they can take the heat and if this is really the position they want to work in and if this is something they want to deal with every day for 8 hours a day. So it's a perfect way to put them to a little test. So if you hire a cold caller, have a role play. If you hire someone for social media, you can just very quickly show them a page on Instagram and say, tell me everything you can tell me about this page. What do you like? What do you not like? What would you change? And how? So you have probably some idea about what would work well for social media. You want a person who knows more than you. You want to delegate up. You want to delegate to an expert. And if I hear a very superficial answer, then this is not the person I want to hire. What I want to hear is, okay, let me see your hashtags. Let me see your description. You see, you're not very searchable. Let me see your analytics. I don't think you have enough reels. Why don't your reels have captions? Don't you know that a lot of people scroll social media without audio? So I would highly encourage you to have some captions so they can scroll and they can still get to see your message. So these are the kind of responses that I would love to hear if I'm hiring someone for social media. Someone who really understands and can prove it to me at an interview right there and right then without any preparation because they really are an expert. If you hire a video editor, give them a quick little video to edit. That could be done offline after the interview. Give them a deadline. I always say this, don't ask the VAs to work for free. Don't give them a task that's going to take them hours or a whole day, but just give them a little task so you understand what is it that they can do for you, for your specific project. So if you hire a video editor, give them something they can do offline. The truth is, not a lot of people will actually do it. A lot of people will bail, but that's another level of filtration to see whether or not this person is a great fit for you. If you want to test something at the interview, you can also show them a quick video and ask them, tell me what you like about this video, tell me what you don't like about it, tell me what would you change about it. I want to hear someone who says, this is the wrong audio for this. The audio doesn't convey the right emotion. If this is a sad video, I want to hear something more. The transition is not smooth. The color grading is not there. So I want to see what they would sound like as an expert. So you get the idea, at an interview, have a video chat, ask the same questions, and towards the end, always give a test. This is all this high-level information. But last but not least here is you want to record the interviews. And this is important because couple of reasons. As I put here, sometimes you can't decide between two good candidates. And when you step back, when you take a look at the interviews again with fresh eyes, you will see who's a better candidate. Other times, you fall in love with a candidate right after the interview, but then when you take some time and you look at this with fresh eyes, you start to see red flags, or maybe you get that confirmation again that this is the best person for you. So in any case, record the interviews, watch them, and see candidates with fresh eyes. And then if you have a couple of people, you get to choose who you want to hire, or you get to show the recordings to someone else on the team and make sure that everybody on the team agrees on the right person to bring on board. So this is all high level what you do at an interview. Now let's go a little deeper. When we interview candidates at Hire Train VA, we have 2 rounds of interview. The first one is very simple, very basic. We just want to identify the A players from someone else. Just very quick. It takes about 20 minutes. The second interview, that's when we go granular into their expectations, into their experience, their metrics, all of that, why they left their previous job and so on. So let's talk about the first interview. If you have a lot of candidates, you don't want to waste your time and book a whole hour interview with everyone. You quickly want to decide who's going to be a better fit and who needs to go right away. So we use the strategy from this book called Who. So during the first interview, this is called a screening interview. There are 5 questions that you need to ask the candidates. Number 1 is, what are your career goals? It's very simple. There's only 5 questions. You ask them, but you see how they respond. What are your career goals? And I want to see if they really thought about this and if their career aligns with my job. Am I just a pit stop in their career? Is just something they're going to do for a few months and they leave me? Or are we aligned, and can I help this person grow and can I help them become better? So that's the question number 1. Question number 2 is, what are you really good at professionally? I want them to brag about this, and I want them to tell me what they can bring to the table and how they can help my company. Question number 3 is, what are you bad at professionally? I want them to be honest with me and with themselves and tell me what is it something they don't want. So for example, a lot of people here will say that, oh, I'm actually pretty good at everything. That's not true. That's not the case. And I also don't like answers that are so canned and that are so overly rehearsed. Something like, oh, my weakness is that I'm a perfectionist. Okay, get over it. People are just like, I really need real answers. What are you not good at so that I don't put you in that position, so that I know this? For example, in my case, I know that my weakness, so to speak, is I'm not a detail-oriented person. I'm a big visionary. Show me the vision, show me the goal, show me the end, but do not lose me in all these details and all this minutia. This is not something that works for me. So if I'm being put in a position where I would have to do administrative work, I would not shine in that. But put me in a leadership position, and this is something that I would be better at. Put me in management position, and this is something that I would enjoy more. But doing routine tasks and detailed tasks every single day, I would lose my mind. So this is something that I would say here. I am not very detail oriented. I don't prefer to do routine work, but I do love to manage a team. I do love to lead a team and so on. So I'm looking for realistic answers here on what that person excels at professionally and what they're bad at professionally. It also shows me how well they know themselves and how comfortable they are talking about this. I don't want them to just say something bad about it and then leave it at that. They can say something bad, but also show me what they're good at. So in what positions they would be happy and they would bring most value to me as well. So this was question number 3. So question number 4, and the last question, actually, I'm not sure if I mentioned there were 5, but there are actually 4 questions here. Question number 4 is, and this is a crucial one, when we talk to your former bosses, how would they rate you on a scale from 1 to 10, and what would they say about you? So not if we talk to your former bosses, but when we talk to your former bosses, how would they rate you on a scale from 1 to 10, and what would they say about you? Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we're setting the expectation that, hey, we're going to call your former bosses. What will they say about you? So, but also see how they react. And it's very important. They will say, you get to see body language, you get to see what happened. And of course, maybe they were let go, or maybe they left, maybe the relationship they had with their former boss wasn't good. But you also get to see how diplomatically or how well they respond, or how they act being in an uncomfortable situation. Are they bad-mouthing that company, or are they still taking the high road and seeing the positive out of that, or spinning it in a good way? It's just, how would they present your company if something didn't go well? What would they say about your company if something doesn't go well? It's all about the level of being professional, but also how they think and about their personality. So this is the first screening round. Now when you go into the second round, that's when you go deeper. And these are a couple of questions here. I'm going to put them here on the screen so you can see them. But if you're listening to this rather than watching this episode, I'm going to read them out loud so you can hear them. A couple of questions that we ask are, what were you hired to do in your previous job? What accomplishments are you proud of? What were the low points during your job? Why did you leave your job? Tell me about a person you admire and why you like him or her. And what metrics did you have to report and how did you perform? Now, the last question, what metrics did you report? That's not from the book. We actually add more questions here depending on what role we hire for. But this is a great way to start getting granular into their previous experience. I want to know what they're proud of. What accomplishments do they have? What is it that brought them satisfaction? And what is it that they would love to do again to replicate that good feeling? What were the low points? Is it something that I can avoid as a leader because I want to keep my people happy? So these are all important questions. Why did they leave their previous job? Is it something that, again, I can avoid to make sure I don't make the same mistake? Or was it an integrity issue, in which case that would be a huge red flag? And then besides this question, we ask more specific questions related to the job. If someone's applying as an executive assistant, we ask about, tell me about a situation when you had to do this and that, or show me your skill set. So great questions here. All right, let's move on. There are a couple of mistakes that people make in the interview, that business owners make in an interview. So they're so common, maybe people don't realize their mistakes, or being so nice and they don't want to offend anyone. So let's talk about them. The number one mistake is they're too afraid to ask tough questions. But tough questions are important because you get to uncover red flags, you get clarification on situations, you get to uncover their concerns, and also get to know them deeply as people. So don't be afraid to ask tough questions. A lot of interviewers, they want to be nice, they don't want to scare away good candidates, and they're afraid to ask tough questions. That's a common mistake. Another mistake would be they don't test what they buy. We already talked about this, and I talk about this a lot. Before you offer this job to someone, really know what the person can do for you. Don't ask the VA to work for free, but test their knowledge. See what they can do for you, for your product, for your service, for your situation. Have a cold calling. Have them analyze a Facebook page or Instagram page. So do not buy without testing it first. Also, another mistake people make is they have long interviews for bad candidates. If you know this is a bad candidate, protect your time, protect your energy. You can spend your time better doing something else. And also let the candidate know right away, hey, this is not what I'm looking for. I personally, when I interview people, I don't like telling them we'll be in touch with you. I like to tell them exactly whether or not they passed that interview, because I don't want necessarily to get more emails of people following up with me. So, and I keep the interview short. Thank you so much for showing up, but unfortunately, we're looking for something else. I wish you all the best of luck. I just want to make sure that I respect your time as well. And I don't think you would be happy here, and we're looking for a different skill set. But thank you so much. That's it. Keep it short. Don't keep candidates at the interview just out of niceness. So the next mistake is people don't record the interviews. We kind of talked about this. Definitely record it so you can choose between candidates. You get a lot more clarity. The next one is analysis paralysis, and this is huge. So many entrepreneurs are looking for this perfect VA. Maybe you know somebody who has this amazing virtual assistant or amazing employee, and you want to find the exact replica of that person. But what you don't know is that people grow into their roles. People grow into becoming better. So when I was first hired, I worked for a real estate company. When I was first hired, I was not very good. I'm actually very surprised that they gave me this opportunity. I knew nothing about real estate. Absolutely nothing. I had to learn everything on the go. I think eventually I got to be pretty decent at the job I was doing, but this is not the person that I became because of my experience was not the person they initially hired. So when you're looking to hire this perfect virtual assistant, this doesn't exist. What if they are so money motivated that they will leave you in 1 month just because someone else offered them $1 more per hour or something like this? You never know what's going to happen, and you just wasted all this time, energy, resources, training the right people, and they leave. So instead, what if you find the right personality and teach them the skill set or train them on the skill set? Of course, you want somebody with experience, but you also want someone who's coachable, who's going to get it fast. And when you identify the right personality, once you identify this hunger, this coachability, this desire for more, this go-getness, this assertiveness, then you can put them in any position and they'll figure it out. So this is what you're looking for, and that's how you get the perfect VA. And you might find the perfect VA right away, but don't count on it. And too many people are just stuck, paralyzed by this analysis, and they're always looking for something better and better and better and more while their business is being put on hold. So that's a common mistake people make. The next one is they're looking for the exact replica, kind of what we talked about here. Do not look for the exact replica. People grow into their role. I kind of touched upon this in a previous point. Okay, now let's talk about when you interview people, what are some red flags? How to know, how to identify that this person is no bueno, it's not going to be good for us, and they need to be let go immediately. Okay, first of all, the candidate is late for the interview. If they're late for the interview, if you as the business owner, as the manager, as a busy entrepreneur, if you are on time, dress professionally, dress nice, look presentable, and the candidate is late for interview, no matter what the excuse is, I don't think this is a good way. I mean, maybe some excuse. I don't want to be too, going very extreme. So maybe some excuses are good. You can give them a second chance. But if this happens again, absolutely no way you can work with that person. But if the excuse is, oh, I wasn't sure of the time difference, I thought it was an hour earlier, an hour late. There are so many tools right now. You can have reminders on your phone. There are so many ways not to make that mistake. But if you want to give them a chance, you can, but do not give them more than one chance. And that goes for everyone. I mean, we're humans, that can happen, but just, it could still be a little red flag in my books. Next one is they find excuses rather than solutions. This is a big red flag. You want to hire a person, a virtual assistant or an employee who's going to make your life easier, not more complicated. If you don't feel like that person is going to make your life easier, if they find excuses, not solutions, why even bring them on board? Everything is figure-outable. We don't lack resources, we lack resourcefulness. So there's so many resources at our fingertips. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's books, there's everything. Find the solution, don't find an excuse. Next red flag, job bouncing. When we hire virtual assistants, we actually look at their resumes. If they work 2 months here, 2 months there, 2 months somewhere else, if they don't stay put with one company for at least 1 year, that's a huge red flag. Now I understand a couple of experiences here and there, 2 months here, 2 months there, it's okay. A couple of them, but if this is a pattern, if this happens continuously, this is clearly a candidate issue, not a company issue. So job bouncing, you risk investing a lot of time and effort into training the person, and then they leave you in a couple of months. So not a very good experience, not the best candidate that we're looking for. Attitude and ego problem. I don't know if I should even discuss something here. If a person has an attitude, if they have an ego problem, how can you not see this as a red flag? Why even consider having this person on board? Absolutely no, absolutely needs to go. And we are a recruiting company. We hire lots of virtual assistants for companies here. And we take a lot of this heavy work, a lot of this headache from companies looking to hire VA. We talk to so many virtual assistants. And yes, there are people that have huge attitude and huge ego problems. And we're just so happy that our clients didn't have to go through that, because we find them, identify them right away, and we never want to work with them ever again. So if they have an attitude, if they are disrespectful, absolutely don't tolerate that. You get what you tolerate, and you don't want that. Also, last thing, interview flag, a huge red flag is if you have a bad feeling overall. The VA should make your life easier. If you're not feeling it, if you're just like, I'm not convinced, I just don't know, there's something in your gut, you gotta trust your gut. There's something in your gut telling you this is not your person, then don't go with that person. It has to be a hell yes or a no. So if it's not a hell yes, then it's probably a no. However, be careful. Again, you might miss out on some good candidates because you might be infatuated with their resume, their perfect interview, with their professional, but you never know a person 100% until you actually get to work with them. So these are the red flags that a lot of people should avoid. And that covers what we do here at Hire Train VA. Now, after the interview, it's always a good idea to check references. And we always check references of the people that we interview just to make sure that we really are looking not just at their skill set, but also at their personality and integrity. And we've dodged a couple of bullets before. So it's very important to talk to previous employers. And if you're an employer yourself, and if somebody calls you asking you for a reference, please be unbiased. Please give us the right, please not us, but please provide the right references. Now, why is that important? First of all, it's helping the company, right? Hiring, it's helping us knowing that we can make good matches, but it also helps protect the VAs, the virtual assistants who are really serious about it and who really want to make a difference. There are so many talented people out there. There are so many talented virtual assistants who really want to have a chance and who want to stand out being selected. Maybe they don't present themselves so well in an interview. Maybe it was the nerves. But when we check references and we learn more about their work ethic, about their integrity, about their results, this is what really matters. I really want to know what this person can do, not how well they interview, not how well they crafted their resume. There are AI tools that can make this perfect resume in minutes. That's not why we hire people. We hire people based on what they can do. So when you check references and when you give unbiased and truthful opinions, it really helps the best virtual assistants out there who want to make a difference in their own lives and who want to make a big impact in your business as well. So if you need help with hiring virtual assistants, we're always available. Check the links in the description, how to get in touch with us. Let's have a conversation. No strings attached. Let's just see what we can do for you. If it's a fit, great. If it's not, that's perfectly okay. Thank you for tuning in. Go get the perfect candidates. Now we know about how to have the job title, how to interview people. There's nothing stopping you from finding the right candidate. So go get them. Go get them. They're out there hoping to be hired by you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next week.